Last week on the PBA Tour, 54-year-old Norm Duke added to his incredible legend, defeating superstar Jason Belmonte to capture the 39th PBA title of his career. And now, just a week later, Norm is back and on top as the #1 seed here at the PBA Jonesboro Open. His competition, most here today are less than half Norm's age. Like 22-year-old former PBA Players Champ Anthony Simonson, 26-year-old former PBA Player of the Year E.J. Tackett. Can Norm Duke continue to turn back time? He tries for PBA title number 40 right now on FS1.
Welcome to the natural state, Jonesboro, Arkansas. The Go Bowling PBA Jonesboro Open from the Hijinx Family Entertainment Center. Home of the Arkansas State Red Wolves women's bowling team of the day. 5 of the finest bowlers anywhere in the world. And look who's at the head of this lineup. I mean, you've got international stars, you've got major champions, and the guy who's done it all in this sport, Norm Duke, is your #1 seed. Hello again, everybody, along with the Hall of Famer, Randy Peterson. I'm Dave Lamont. Kimberly Pressler, of course, is with us as well, and she'll be talking to Norm. Hey, I found the Fountain of Youth, buddy. It's a little bit outside downtown Indianapolis, where Norm Duke won last week.
Yeah, I'll have what Norm's having. You know, you said it in the tease, Dave. If I could turn back time, Cher sang it, but I'm pretty sure this guy wrote the lyrics. And what a week he had last week, taking down the #1 player on the planet, Jason Belmonte, for title number 39. Well, he's back at it again this week as the #1 seed. You know, I think we're all amazed and inspired by what he's done the last couple of weeks, but I don't think there's a player on this tour who's surprised.
And look what company he keeps. Only the late Earl Anthony and Walter Ray Williams Jr. are ahead of him in total wins, and Duke, with a victory today, he only has to bowl 1 game, would be number 40. Yes, it was a very emotional occasion for Norm Duke. How did he deal with it? Well, let's ask him, because he is standing by with Kimberly Pressler.
Thanks, Dave. So, Norm, you know, your win last week prompted fans and fellow bowlers to express their joy for you on social media in a pretty big way. So how did that support move you?
Well, I thought it was over tearing up on the approach, Kimberly. I went home and, God, it was 2 days worth of reading. It was the greatest response that I've ever received, and gosh, it moved me, no doubt about it. And I think that was partly why I kept it going.
Well, you seem to keep your emotions in check because you're sitting in the #1 seed today. How'd you make that happen?
Well, they were tough. The lanes were tough, and anytime the scores are held to a minimum, then I'm going to be a factor. And I was bowling great. I didn't have but a day in between that I wasn't bowling, so I thought, wow, I'm sharp. Let's go.
And how much fun are you having during all this?
It was awesome. This is my first trip to Jonesboro, and boy, are they doing it right here, Kimberly.
They so are. Thank you so much for your time, and we will see you in the title match.
Well, they are absolutely right about that. Hey, we're doing dual oil patterns again. Left lane, right lane, Randy, are different. We started with 83. We had 14 games of qualifying down to a top 16 and match play. Then 30 games to reach the TV finals, and of course we're down to our final 5. So we've got Shark left and Viper on the right.
36 feet on the right, 48 feet on the left. That left lane is really slick, and the players are going to attack these 2 lanes completely different. They're going to get it from the outside part of the lane on the right lane, really straight from out, and on the left lane they're going to play the inside part of the lane in the middle, kind of like old school 1990s, 1980s. We used to call it fallback, where you just let the oil push and slide the ball back to the pocket.
There you see the most famous left shark since Katy Perry's Super Bowl performance. And we are underway with Shota Kawazoe and Kris Prather. And here is Shota from Fukuoka, Japan.
Interesting story about Shota. I did an exhibition in his hometown many years ago. He attended this exhibition that I put on as a teenager.
Wow. Well, he's 30 now. And Kris Prather, who you're taking a look at here, is 27. Both of these players are seeking their first PBA Tour title.
I'll tell you what, this Kris Prather's got a beautiful game and quietly becoming one of the best players out on the PBA Tour.
sharply snapping that into the pattern as we show you what's going to happen today. Following our opening match, we go up the stepladder to the number 3 seed, and that's the two-hander, Anthony Simonson. Then the ridiculous rev rate of E.J. Tackett, and then on the top, the wee Iceman, to borrow Randy's expression, Norm Duke. By the way, if you're wondering what happened to the $1 million, we put it back in the vault. It's coming back real soon. But the $1 million rests today for a 300 game in the championship match. And both players right now looking smooth under these hot lights.
Only 2 300 games all week, one by that man, Kris Prather, the other by E.J. Tackett, and a great start by Kris.
And Prather's was especially huge, Randy. He was slipping out of the show on the final day of match play. He could barely get, in fact, wasn't even getting the 200, changed balls, and then all of a sudden exploded. We'll have more on that a little bit later on. That was really an interesting turnaround for him. Shota. Now, you might remember seeing him a year ago in Indianapolis win a match on television and then have a heartbreaking defeat. In Japan, this guy is a superstar in bowling.
Well, he's the #1 player in Japan, and 17 JPBA titles and 2 PBA regional titles in Japan.
19 300 games in JPBA competition.
Wow. Yeah, he got a little more motion out of that shot than he was expecting, but it's still a spare. No harm, no foul. Take a look at Shota in his beautiful release at the bottom. Even though he's using urethane, watch how that hand gets in a really great position and just a little bit of rotation as he tries to keep his hand up the back of the bowling ball.
He switches over now to the longer pattern on the left lane. And once again, Randy, we're facing a challenge with the dual patterns of so many bowling balls. These bowlers are going to have to bring to the center in order to keep up.
Well, a lot of the players will use urethane on the shorter pattern to minimize motion. That was a reactive resin hit as the 6 goes to the sidewall and takes the 10 out. For Kris Prather, he's using reactive on both lanes, and he does it with his hand. So he can trick it up. He's very versatile. He can throw it so many different ways. And so instead of using urethane for Kris, he just softens his hand and reduces the RPMs on the right lane.
Oh, we got a nice mix-up and a 4-pin taking out the 7 at the last moment. Kris had a couple of TV appearances a year ago in majors. He was 4th at the Players' Championship at Wayne Webb's place in Columbus, and then lost the semifinals of the U.S. Open to Dom Barrett.
Look how wide he gets that ball back, and I'll tell you what, if you don't put the good touch on that shot, it could be 0.
Well, this is a big shot, not just for Kris, but if you're a bowler, this is a big shot here.
Halo Pearl on the left lane, Daredevil on the right lane for Kris Prather.
And again, the higher the number, the more likely it is to hook. Design that way. Oh, goodbye to the 9-pin. Now that Kris Prather has the first 4 strikes in this match, and should he or any other bowler on today's show roll a perfect game, everybody in America can receive a free game of bowling courtesy of Go Bowling. And this is how close you got to almost not getting that. To claim your free game, simply head to gobowling.com and register for the Go Bowling Free America promotion.
That action going on in the back of the pin deck used to remind me of the old days when I used to visit the mosh pits.
You went to a lot of Green Day concerts in your youth, didn't you? Oh, a quiet 10 there for Kawazoe.
Lazy 10 on the right lane, and he needed it. Prather out to a great start with a 4-bagger. And now Shota goes strike, 4-pin, strike, 10-pin. So if he converts here, it's 2-9 spares on the right lane, which makes him fall farther behind.
clean through 4. And for more on Shota, let's talk to our friend Kimberly Pressler.
Thanks, guys. Now, even though in Japan they don't bowl on double patterns, Shota seems to be adapting pretty well to them, as last week he finished 54th, and only a week later he's sitting in the 5th position. Now, it's also worth mentioning that even though Shota isn't used to the dual pattern matches, he's done well on the shark pattern, which is being used on the left lane, finishing 6th in 2017 for the World Series of Bowling.
Kimberly, thank you very much. This is just his 3rd event of the year. He's in for the long haul. He'll be around. Yeah, you can't do any better than that.
Yeah, well, right now he's thinking, if I could just stay on the left lane, it would be a different story. But that's the beauty of the dual patterns, and it forces you to show your hand as a player.
Gonna have something in his eye. He's perhaps, or he's having a quick consult with tour reps Matt McNeil and Jim Callahan. Kris just missed making that show in Lubbock. So it had to be extra satisfying to earn his way into this one. Look out. Oh. At first I was fearful of the channel, and all of a sudden he just gets hosed on a ringing 10. That 6-pin doing him 0 favors, so his strike streak stops at 4. But he maintains the advantage.
Nice spare. I just put some numbers down.
This is the 2000 election all over again. You brought in the whiteboard.
I got the whiteboard here, and I got some numbers, and I just wanted to say how much different the players are playing the 2 lanes. We talk about the 2 oil patterns and the differences in the 2. Prater is 9 at the arrow, 9 boards difference at the arrows, and 8 boards difference at the breakpoint, meaning farther left. Shota is 12 and 7. So that's how much different they're playing the 2 lanes.
Last regional title, 2017 in Oak Forest, Illinois. And he is getting great action so far this afternoon.
Yeah, makes up for that ring 10 on the right lane. That's when you know you're putting a good touch on the ball. When you get the good pin action, wipe that oil off, get it ready to strike some more. Kris Prather in complete command here in game 1.
The PBA on FS1, sponsored by Go Bowling. For promotional offers, tips to improve your game, news, or to locate a bowling center near you, log on to gobowling.com. And Randy, it's time for our Flow Bowling Tournament highlights.
It sure is, Dave. Kris Prather, who led after round 1, struggled late, but made a great ball change through 300 in match play to capture the 4th seed. And our friend Tom Doherty, he needed a strike on the first ball in the 10th frame of the last game of match play to make the show, but he goes high and leaves the 3-6. Tom would finish in 6th. And Marshall Kent continuing his great bowling ways, having a tremendous season with yet another top 10 finish. He would finish 7th.
Speaking of having a great season, Sean Rash in the top 10 again. Sean finishing 8th, and right now in the playoff race, only Jason Belmonte and EJ Tackett have more points than Sean. With his twin brother to root him on, Anthony Lavery-Spar finished 9th, and he is in that top 24 right now in the PBA playoff race in 18th position. And in 6th place on the year, and in 12th place this week, the only lefty to make match play, Jacob Butter. And we take a look at the other finishers. You saw some of the top 10. Sean Maldonado's had a couple of good weeks. Brian Robinson in the number 11 position.
Sean Maldonado, nicknamed Candy.
That's right, and he ought to be after Richie Teese, our friend from England. I'm glad to see that he popped into match play today. Again, only 16 made match play in this one.
Kyle Sherman bowling nicely the last couple weeks.
Absolutely. So here's Shota Kawazoe. He really hasn't done anything wrong. But unfortunately, Kris Prather right now is just red hot, so Shota is down by 29 pins.
Yeah, 4-pin in the second, 10-pin in the fourth. Shota staying with the urethane bowling ball. That black piece of charcoal that he's throwing right there. Again, urethane versus reactive resin, two completely different cover stocks.
That looks pretty good. Yep, kick save and a beauty on the 10. And there is Yasuko, Shota's wife.
Why is that guy covering her up with a sign?
I don't know. We need to see
Oh, wait.
her.
And I don't read kanji, but that says something. There she is.
There she is right there.
Two of the nicest people you'll ever meet is Shota and his wife.
His dream is to win on the PBA Tour. We know he's been successful at home. He wants to be successful in the States.
They sacrifice a lot to come out here full time and leave their country behind. Gotta have
it. Didn't get it. Soft tap.
Well, he's bowled a solid game, but he hasn't really gotten a whole lot for it.
17 career titles in Japan on the PBA Tour there. 2 PBA Regional Tour titles, 19 perfect games, and last year, kind of a heartbreaking 4th place for him. He could have gone on to another match, but he missed a 10-pin in the 10th frame.
Well, last year when he made that first telecast, he threw the last 3 in the 10th frame to get in by 1, go around Bill O'Neill. And I know Bill will appreciate that. And then this week here, he threw the last 6 to force Tom Doherty to strike there in the 10th frame. When Tom went high, left the 3-6, Shota made it by just a couple.
Which is why I don't think he's out of this match yet, because he has shown the ability to finish strong. And now he's going to need a break. He's going to need Prater to make a mistake or to perhaps slow down his high strike pace. You see his max score right now, 279.
Well, as tough as they are, Dave, in both lanes being completely different, anything's possible.
Anthony Simonson, who's already won this year, and a major at that, is standing by. Well, I tell you, he is dialed in right now.
Well, just another great Wichita State product is Kris Prather. Take a look at this form. What I really love about what he does is how steady his upper body is. I mean, you could put a plate of food on top of his head and none of it would spill. Look at that form and how balanced and how little movement there is. And this kid can do anything to a bowling ball. I've seen him loft it halfway down the lane. I've seen him go straight. I've seen him slow hook it. And that's why he's one of the best players out here. And it's not going to be long before Kris Prather is winning on a regular basis out here.
That was today's track technique with Randy Peterson. Prater looking for his first PBA Tour title. Just again, he is absolutely polishing these pins off.
Dialed in, and he's making great shots. And so it's a combination of things. It's knowing where to stand with your feet on the approach, knowing what target to look at, and then there's the execution part.
So Kawazoe now in a nearly impossible position. He gets the 10 buried that time.
Well, as soon as he finds the right lane, then he loses the left lane, and that's why he's trailing by 40. If he strikes out, he shoots 239.
You see his arsenal there, physics and pitch black.
Pitch black on the right lane, Dave. Physics on the left. Remember, stronger bowling balls on the left lane because it's slicker. You need something with snow chains on it to grab that lane. And something like more like a marble, like a really smooth marble on the right lane.
His max scores haven't changed since we showed them to you earlier. The 239 just may not be enough, which is so hard to imagine. Messenger is going to come through for him.
There's still life.
Yeah. And again, he's shown the ability to close hard and put the pressure on the other guy to finish.
He's done it before. Now, Prater, all he needs to do is mark in the 9th and 10th frame, any mark. In those 2 frames, as we take a look at this slow roll in Messenger and Shota's. And then, you know what he just said there? Yatane, yatane. That means great in Japanese.
That's right. You've been to that country many times.
Sugoi, another word for great. Speaking of great, it's pretty much what Kris Prather has been this entire game.
Ooh, across there, and he'll have 6-10 to work with.
It's okay. 6-10 is way better than 4-6-7-10. That would be also known as the Big Four. Kris looks like a pretty good shot here, and then this ball just picks up early and starts to curve a lot.
He knew it right away, too.
Yeah.
He saw that and just didn't even want to see the result. 94% conversion for the pros.
Spare here, and a spare strike in the 10th frame, and he'll move on.
There you go. Simple as that. His best PBA Tour finishes in his career. He has 4 third places, including that U.S. Open we mentioned, a couple of flow bowling events in Owasso, Oklahoma, and also in 2016, the extra frame Parkside Lanes Open in his native Illinois.
He's taking a re-rack here. First ball in the 10th frame for those of you tuning in for the first time. The players get 2 re-racks a game.
The equivalent of a timeout.
Yeah, the 30-second timeout, not a full timeout.
No, you don't want the full timeout. Interesting stat, and I'm really shocked by this because we have all these guys that bowl on television. They've never faced, none of the combinations work with any of these combinations have ever faced each other on TV.
Yeah. Any mark, spare or strike on his good lane.
There you go.
Done.
Kris Prather is moving on to take on Anthony Simonson in the next match here in Jonesboro, Arkansas. For Shota Kawazoe, he has made television in just his 3rd event of the year, and you will see him again in Michigan.
Not even sure what that is.
Well, it looks a little bit like the Gator chop for the University of Florida fans, but it's not. It's not long enough. It's sort of a short version. And this shot, just to put some numbers on the board, he is already advanced. So Anthony Simonson is standing by, one of the bright stars of the PBA Tour, a 2-time major champion already in his career, and he's 22 years old. This guy can really roll it. He's going to take on Kris Prather next from Jonesboro.
Welterweight world champion Showtime Shawn Porter defends his belt for the first time as he battles top-rated contender Yordenis Ugas. That's live in prime time, Saturday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, and that is only on Fox. Well, we talked quite a bit already at the top of the show about points, but Randy, let's talk for a little bit about what Kris Prather did in dominating that first match.
Yeah, he played the lanes brilliantly and then executed brilliantly, but this is his break point, so that's where the ball starts to curve down lane. It's a 9-bore difference. Look how close he is to the right edge of the gutter on the right lane, and then how much deeper he is on the left. And let's take a look at it in live action as we recorded a couple of his shots. So watch how deep he is on the left lane, and then look how close his bowling ball gets to on the right lane. All the way out to the edge on the right, and look how straight it is on the left. And that's the difference in the 2 oil patterns.
So there you see the final score from that match. Prather moving on over Kawazoe to take on Anthony Simonson in our next match. Now, time for the Volvo PBA playoff points list presented by Volvo. Follow no one, and we've got a few gentlemen who are ranked very highly that are on the show today, like number 2, EJ Tackett, number 4, Anthony Simonson, number 5, Norm Duke. Jason Belmonte is back in Australia, relaxing for a little bit, undoubtedly getting in some practice time, though, getting ready for the World Series of Bowling, and that's a solid top 10. The top 24 will make it to the PBA playoffs. You take a look at 11 through 20, Kris Prather. And these, by the way, are updated standings as we keep moving through. DJ Archer, Jesper Svensson at 15, the Hall of Famer Chris Barnes in number 16 position. And the cut line right now is 24, and that's Brad Miller and Nick Pate, and they are tied. And Tom Smallwood is right on their heels. Now, coming up is World Series of Bowling number 10. We've had some incredible moments over the 10 years, and this time we're going back to the roots in Allen Park, Michigan, just outside Detroit. You've seen some of the finest players in the world have won different titles in the World Series. Tackett, Svensson, Belmo, and many others. And I want to bring the father of the World Series with me here, PBA Tour Commissioner Tom Clark. This was your baby, and congratulations. It's 10 now.
That is amazing, isn't it? It's incredible. And there's been, I think, over 40 champions that have come out of the World Series of Bowling. To have it be the 10th year and coming up after this incredible year we've had, you guys have had some great action to call. And we've been really proud of it in the relationship with Fox. And now to move the World Series in its 10th edition back home where it started at Thunder Bowl in the bowling city of Detroit. And the new twist this year is we're going to be on live every night in prime time, Monday through Friday, with World Series of Bowling action on FS1. So that's going to ramp things up even more.
Well, it's been frantic already just about the halfway point of the season, and this will really guide us to a spectacular finish.
You know, the points that are going to be available at that event and the World Championship and the level of talent in that field. We have players coming from over 20 countries. You just saw Shota. I mean, there's guys like him all over the world, and they pinpoint the World Series of Bowling as their chance to make a mark on the game and the PBA. So it's really intense and great. And then right after that, we have the USBC Masters, another major championship. So there's a lot to go before the playoffs.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. I will not put you on the spot and ask for a prediction for our next match. The two-hander Simonson, the one-hander Prather, who looked really good in game number 1. Moving on, EJ Tackett and Norm Duke are still standing by. Next up, Simonson versus Prather. Back-to-back Big East matchups coming your way Wednesday on FS1. Marcus Howard and Marquette took a loss today at home to Creighton, facing off with Seton Hall. Then Jesse Govan will lead Georgetown versus DePaul. It all starts Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. With Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler, Dave Lamont. And we are now to be joined by Kris Prater and Anthony Simonson in match number 2. Prater defeating Shota Kawazoe of Japan 246 to 236 in a match that is not as close as the score indicated. Anthony Simonson, you may have seen him just a couple weeks ago, Columbus, Ohio, at Wayne Webb's house, Randy, defeating Jason Belmonte.
Yeah, he was pretty awesome in that. What he was doing to the bowling ball to make it react the way it was doing. And then, of course, he got 2 colossal breaks, one being the pocket 710 that happened not once but twice. And then Anthony, he was able to play a part of the lane that nobody else played because of what he was able to do with his release. And it was pretty amazing to watch that. So kudos to him, great win. He needed that one strike in the 10th frame, chipped the 9 out and won it.
And so we are underway. Great crowds here in Jonesboro, Arkansas. They have treated everybody associated with this tournament beautifully.
Now, if Kris Prather can stay ahead of the transition, meaning when the oil breaks down, the oil pattern starts to dissolve and break down and dry up, the players always migrate to the left because they always find more oil. If he can stay ahead of the transition, he may be very dangerous today.
Well, that might be an indication right there. An absolutely explosive strike for Prater. Here's the guy, the veteran of television at 22 years old. 6-time titleist, 2 majors. He's been a pro for 6 years. Had 4 singles finals appearances last year. And is wickedly talented.
And folks, if you're seeing this guy for the first time, yeah, he uses 2 hands and no thumb. He doesn't put his thumb in the ball. He puts his middle finger, his ring finger into the finger holes. Here you go, right here. Then he's going to roll his wrist up underneath it. See his thumb on the side of the ball? And that's the 2-handed style made famous by Jason Belmonte from Australia.
And perfection for Simonson in the first 2 shots. I got a funny feeling Belmo's watching today back home, so we send him our best. Look forward to him coming back to the States to compete. And right now these players have thrown some powerful strikes in the early going. Prater part of that, when I say this the best word possible, factory Wichita State. Both the men and the women, they've turned out some of the finest bowlers in the program there, the Wheat Shockers. They're just tremendous. And that's through the face for Kris there, a 3-6-10. One quick reminder, we are bowling on 2 different lane patterns today. Shorter pattern on the right, longer pattern on the left.
The last couple of shots have gone through the nose for Kris on that lane. His 3-6-10 tour average is 80%.
The 1 in 5 chance for it to go south, but not that one.
I love how he uses the strike ball and just flattens his hand and wrist out, make the ball tumble end over end so it doesn't curve. But the last 2 shots, 9th frame of the last game and that shot there, both have gone high.
Sister Catherine is here. His dad and mom, Anthony and Susan, are all here. His wife, Ashley, they were just married fairly recently, a few months ago. Ashley's back home watching. That sailed a little bit on him and leaves behind the 2-4-5. That's the first time, Randy, that I can recall on the left lane we've seen a shot behave like that.
They got a little bit wide, and there's so much oil on that lane that there's no recovery. Remember, at 48 feet, the lane is only 60 feet long. So that leaves just 12 feet of dryness, and tough to get it back when you miss right on a long oil pattern. 83% tour average on this. Perfect.
Can't do it any better. Anthony Simonson is perfect through 2 with a double.
And take a look at his first ball on the left lane, game 1, on the left on the left side of your screen there, and then the first shot of this match. It was a good 7 boards difference at the arrows from one game to the next.
The shots look identical. Simonson stalking the pocket. And he will take a re-rack.
He's a pretty impressive young man in what he's done. The youngest player to win 2 majors, and he's very creative. He can do a lot of different things with a bowling ball with 2 hands and shape it any way he wants. I've seen him throw the ball almost halfway down the lane with his 2-handed style. It's pretty impressive to watch. Alpha Crux and phase 2. He's using phase 2 on the left lane and Alpha Crux on the right lane, which is very interesting. He's using the stronger ball on the drier lane.
So the opposite of what you think he'd be doing. And he will go wide and just mix it up.
Well, he caved in the bucket there, and that's a nice break for a 4-bagger. Watch this. 2, 4, 5, 8 standing, and then all of a sudden they're all down.
So what Prather is dealing with is what he did to Shota Kawazoe in the first match. Jumped on him with both feet early.
This shot here will tell me a lot.
And the messenger's going to miss it. He knew it right away. 10 wobbled, but did not go down.
Good shot, but now he had to move in because remember the last couple of shots have been high on that lane. So he moves in, his angle changes enough, and he leaves the ring in 10. Execution was perfect, but the entry angle with the bowling ball into the 1-3 pocket was not.
Well, the one thing Prather's doing is filling frames with spares, not making any big mistakes, and hoping that Simonson can cool off. In other words, this is the reverse of the first match.
I said it at the top of this game here, that if Prater could stay ahead of the transition, and unfortunately the right lane got him early, and I think the last shot on this lane was just a poor shot. He said his key is to keep his feet slow, and I like the fact that he's taking his time. Slow feet, free swing, stay aggressive, don't be afraid were his keys.
That messenger's not going to make it. So that time a soft 10, as you see. The first shot in the ideal line there. First shot in red, ideal line in light blue. Could be a cruel sport sometimes.
The old quitter 10. There's nothing that frustrated me more.
Kids make your spares.
At this level, you better be a great spare shooter, especially when the lanes get tough, and they were tough this week.
See Simonson in match play, 110 out of 16. He is second in earnings so far on the tour this year, and Simonson just making pins jump away in fear.
Well, he's using that really aggressive ball on the right lane, and I think it's because he's trying to get the ball to slow down to read the lane early enough so it doesn't snap too hard. And then on the left lane, he's using a ball that's not as aggressive so he can go straighter.
Pretty smart.
He's a lot smarter than I am.
Crafty at 22 years old. It sailed and he knew it. The damage is minimal.
Yeah, if you're going to leave something, leave the one right in the middle. They used to have a saying, no one misses the 5-pin.
Oh, that's not true.
Unless you were me bowling the TSC one year where my spare ball hung up on my thumb and I missed one.
Oh, no.
Hey, I hate to admit it, but it's the truth.
Well, he's got that one covered.
He could have made that with his eyes closed.
He might have. So Anthony Simonson at the moment is cruising right along.
Everybody's got their hands up.
With 5 strikes and a 5-pin and a big lead for Anthony Simonson. The winner takes on E.J. Tackett.
I'm Anthony Simonson.
Let's go! Give me one!
You're watching the PBA on FS1.
And Anthony Simonson has the lead here, Randy, against Kris Prather in our second match. Let's take a look at Strike Track.
Well, we talked about what Anthony Simonson could do to a bowling ball, but look at how much more angle he's playing on this right lane, the shorter pattern, versus the left lane, the longer pattern, even though the locator at the arrows is pretty close as you look at where he is up front. But remember how versatile Anthony Simonson is. He won a regional throwing a backup ball in the title match. I'm sorry, it wasn't a regional. It was a PBA extra frame event. The Gene Carter Pro Shop Classic counts as the PBA title. Beat Matt Sanders, who's left-handed. And for folks new to the sport, if you don't know what a backup ball is, that would be Anthony Simonson spinning it like a left-hander, and he's right-handed.
And two-handed at that. So that's really something. So Kris Prather, Randy, has made a ball change on the right lane.
It's going to a more aggressive bowling ball on the right lane, and I'm guessing it's to slow it down, meaning the ball reads the lane faster, so there's less down lane reaction. Less curve in the back part of the lane.
Smart change, but is it too late?
Well, you know, you got to give him some credit because you make the change, then you have to trust it, and then you have to execute. And Kris did it perfectly there. It was a beautiful shot. Going to a ball change, he has nothing to lose right now. The fast start for Simonson and Anthony jumping out to that 44-pin lead. Prather said, well, you know what, it's all or nothing, so let's go for it.
And he has had a couple of unbelievable close calls. You think about that, losing by 4 pins in a semi and by 1 pin in a match in 2 major championships. A couple of bounces here or there, a messenger delivered or not delivered, and Kris's career could look a little differently.
Pick up!
He's yelling it to pick up, Randy. What did he mean?
He wants it to grab the lane because it's basically sliding on ice for 48 feet, and he wanted it to pick up, grab the lane so it would come around the corner a little bit more and get to the 1-3 pocket. Pick up! Pick up! God, come on! Need some more tread. And looking for some more friction.
There you go. Time for our Columbia 300 fun fact. And today marks the first time the finals of a PBA Tour event have been televised from Arkansas. It won't be the last, I suspect. We've had a wonderful time here in Jonesboro.
Wasn't there a president from this state once?
There was. Named the airport after he and his wife in Little Rock. That's a bonus Columbia 300 fun fact.
There you go.
You get 2 today for the price of 1. Simonson, that's nasty. That was plain 100% nasty.
Yeah, it's dirty, and you know, you can see him, how he's kind of trying to spin it and get it to go to the right, and that bowling ball is reading perfectly coming off of the spot down lane on that right lane. A great lane level look coming right at you.
Now back to live action, and that one is going to be some work, a 4-9. And that's a split that is made just under 20% of the time, but it was made last week by one Norm Duke.
Yeah, looked like it was left to target, and he paid for it. 19.6 conversion percentage.
And an open for Simonson, and an open door for Prater.
Well, Simonson still has 247 max score. Kris Prather's max score only 225. So Simonson's still in good shape, but Kris Prather with a strike in the 8th and 9th can certainly give something to Simonson to think about.
He knew it right away. Got a trip on the 4. And suddenly the right lane is his new bestie. And he's going to take a re-rack on the left lane.
Well, he hasn't hit this left lane in a few shots now. And in fact, the last time he struck on the left lane was in the first frame. So the last 3, he went light, light, light. I'm sorry. He did go light in the 3rd. He left that quitter 10 in the 5th and then light again in the 7th. So he needs to figure out a way to strike on this lane. Go!
You got it to go.
Yeah, that was a great shot. It looked like he got a little softer with it to get it to pick up. And that time, it picked up and put them all down.
He did exactly what he needed to do to make Anthony Simonson work a little harder in this 9th frame. But on this lane, Simonson has been perfect.
Immediately asked for a re-wrap. He's going to buy himself a little bit of time. What a beautiful shot on the right lane for Simonson.
Right after Prather had just thrown 2 gorgeous shots at him, he responded like the champion he is, the two-time major champion, the youngest in Tour history to do it twice, 22 years old when he won in Columbus in February.
A strike here, he advances and take on E.J. Tackett.
Yeah, baby, that's how you throw it. That's how you throw it. Come on.
That dude's cooler than a polar bear's feet, man. He steps up and he just aces the one in the 10th frame. For daddy lockups, he'll move on.
What a great match is coming up next now with him and E.J. Tackett.
Yeah, baby, that's how you throw it. That's how you throw it.
And one will just keep going.
Well, the match is over, so he made a ball change. He wanted to see a little different shape. So now he's going to question which one do I go with in the next match.
Well, he'll have a little bit of time to think about it, and he can do a little consulting with a tour rep.
Would you like cream or half and half?
Yes, I know. Either way, it seems like your coffee's going to taste pretty good if you're Anthony Simonson right now.
Yeah, I better go get him some butter to go with that sweet roll.
Chris Prater, a fine tournament.
Yeah, and it goes through. I mean,
He ran into a human buzzsaw in the Texan Anthony Simonson. Simonson and Tackett, a rev rate spectacular coming at you next from Jonesboro. So Anthony Simonson is the winner over Chris Prather, 247 to 203 in match number 2 here. This is the Go Bowling PBA Jonesboro Open in Jonesboro, Arkansas, the Hijinx Family Entertainment Center. Along with Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler, I'm Dave Lamont, and we thank you for joining us. Well, it's been a good event so far, not a good event, a great event so far, and a match coming up that we can't wait to see, E.J. Tackett and Anthony Simonson. But we've got to get to the 7-night flashback because there's a legend right there. Johnny Petraglia, 25 years ago in Toledo, Ohio, and Johnny Petraglia at Imperial Lanes shot a 300.
Yeah, well, and I remember exactly where I was when Johnny did this. So the very next week after this event was the Johnny Petraglia Open in New Jersey. So we're there bowling a wheelchair veterans tournament, but we stopped and we all went into the lounge to watch the big screens and watch Johnny Petraglia do this.
In addition to the fun of doing it on worldwide television, that was a $100,000 bonus that Johnny got. And these are televised 300 games in major championships. Jack Beyond the Little throwing the first one of the TFC. And the most recent one, Francois Lavoie at the U.S. Open in 2016. All right. I can't wait. By the way, this match is rated R for the filthy strikes we're about to see. So if you are under 17, bring your mom or dad in, because this is going to be dirty. I can't wait.
I thought you were going to say this is rated E because everyone's going to love this match.
Oh, this is going to be something, man.
Two of the best young players, two of the best players, period, on the PBA Tour right here. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, adult situations with the pins. It's going to be something else.
Oh, he went to that ball.
And the messenger delivers for Simonson. So he went to the ball that he threw essentially a practice shot with at the end.
Yeah, he got a little bit more down lane reactions, a little stronger ball, and then he gets the roller to take the 10 out. Doesn't quite send the 10 pin to the blue tent.
This guy will do that. E.J. Tackett, 12-time titleist already.
Oh, my.
I don't know what to say. But you know what? E.J.'s had a rough start to his week. His brother, Zach, who's on the tour, who's battling epilepsy, got into a car accident when he had a seizure behind the wheel on Sunday a week ago. And Kimberly, you can pick up the story from here. The good news is Zach's going to be okay, but it was a scary day.
Yeah, he is going to be okay. And when I talked to EJ yesterday, he expressed how thankful he was for all the support he got from fellow bowlers, saying the tour is like family. He specifically noted that even though Jason Belmonte was bowling for a title on last week's live show, Jason called him mid-show immediately after the crash happened to check on Zach. And like you mentioned, good news, he was not seriously hurt, and he is looking forward to bowling in the World Series in 2 weeks.
Well, you know, I'm friends with Zach, and I've been around Zach enough to know what a great kid he is, and we're all, you know, we're all pulling for him, and like Kimberly said, we're all family. I know it touched a lot of folks when everyone found out. A lot of the players reached out to EJ and Zach, and so Zach, you know, I know you're watching, so can't wait to see you at the World Series of Bowling Cards. Get better and practice up. Like to see him make a show.
I thought there were stalking laws in this state. Apparently not, because he is stalking the pocket at this punch.
He's doing some good stuff, and you know, even
he knocked down that pin that guy has in the crowd. That's how evil that strike was. He's knocking down pins that people bought and had autographed.
10 of 12 in game one. He's now using the same bowling ball on both lanes, the Alpha Crux, and
slicing the 10 pin.
that was the same exact pin EJ Tackett left in his second shot, but that pin went in front of the 10. Is that the 6 pin?
It used to be.
6 pin? Who knows? I'm trying to get a replay and asking the guys, and the tour rep staying in front of me, they're all saying it's the 6 pin that's cutting in front like that.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
Venom Shock on the right lane, Golden Jackal on the left lane.
And wham! There's whammy. Remember from Anchorman? That's what that was. Goodness. Oh, this is so much fun.
Well, what's fun is watching a player like EJ Tackett, his stature, his size, create the power that he creates. Now watch what he does on the left lane. He's going to loft this shot. And I'll tell you why he's lofting the left lane here in a second. But watch very closely. You can't hear his ball hit the lane on the right lane. You're going to see and hear loft on this shot.
Oh, no, that's...
All week, man.
Well, that's ridiculous. And honestly, the 10 pin that he left in the second was ridiculous. And then watch the bowling ball go right by the 9 pin. The reason why he's lofting it on that lane is to keep it from hooking. If the ball's in the air, it can't curve, right? So he tries to delay hook by giving it a little air time, a little loft on that left lane.
So he'll take care of that stubborn 9.
Well, he's handled it nicely thus far, but I don't know, if I was EJ Tackett, I'd be pretty ticked off right about now.
And it doesn't help that Anthony Simonson has gotten off to that start you see there.
Be careful on this right lane, though, Dave. There's a lot of friction, a lot of curve going on.
Doesn't seem to be a problem at the moment. Let's check in with Kimberly, who is standing by with Kris Prater.
Thanks, Dave. So, Kris, that was a tough loss. Very different from the first match. What was happening to your ball reaction?
Yeah, well, I didn't really get to see Anthony bowl on the left lane. I only watched him bowl on the right lane. So on the right lane, I stayed with the same ball that I started with and moved left. It wasn't really early enough. And then I made the ball change in the 5th frame on the right lane. Looked a little bit better, and I should have been throwing the same ball on the left lane because I moved like 7 or 8 boards, just trying to get left of that little friction spot that's on the left side, so that way my ball wouldn't hook as soon as it hit the lane. And I just didn't see it early enough. You know, Anthony bowled an incredible game. It's just not my day.
What do you expect to happen on the lanes now?
You know, I think Norm might have a little bit of trouble. We're not throwing urethane. If we were throwing urethane, it would carry oil down the lane and it'd give him a little bit of hold. But we're all throwing, you know, we were all throwing surface left and throwing it to the friction. So he's not going to have any left like he did earlier in the week. So I think he's going to have to make some big adjustments, and he might have to curl it like what we're doing.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, Kris, congratulations on the event. Now, that was an interesting comment he made there.
Yeah, so the carry down he's referring to, it occurs when throwing urethane, is when oil is dragged down towards the pins. And since no urethane went down the lane, with the exception of Shota, he's saying that he doesn't think Norm's going to have the hold on the left lane or the mistake area to the left.
Oh, my. What was that indeed?
Nothing like kicking a man when he's down. After the 2 rotten breaks, now he goes a little bit light and leaves a 2-4-8-10.
All right, well, this is looking for the conversion rate on that is just a hair under 9%.
He's going to curve it over there into the 2-4 and then throw that 2-pin over into the 10.
Oh, he did it! Oh!
Kind of like I drew it up there, Pards.
Standing ovation for E.J. Tackett. And here's our Hammer Tough Spare replay.
Turns right to the booth and looks at us and gives us the #1 sign. Great shot, E.J. Tackett.
That is spectacular. Because if you're Simonson, I guess if you're Simonson, you're going to assume he has a chance to make it because he's so good. But it's a 9%er. I mean, that's 91% of the time it's missed. So we'll see how Simonson recovers.
There's the loft. And there's the carry. All 10 went down. Hey, listen, don't count E.J. Tackett out just yet, folks. If there's one thing we know about that man, he's got a lot of fight. But speaking of fighting, this man, Anthony Simonson, he leads by 33. Lots more to come. Stay with us.
I'm E.J. Tackett. And you're watching the PBA on FS1.
Great crowd here in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Appreciating what we've seen here so far. We want to take a moment to remind you about the PBA and Slap It On, having created custom vinyl wall decals with some of your favorite PBA players. The large vinyl decals readily attached to most smooth flat surfaces and can be easily removed and relocated. Action shots of more than 30 PBA Tour players and legends are available. So head to PBA.com and click the Slap It On banner ad and order your favorite player. It's about to get unbelievably nasty in here as we watch this pin action.
Well, there's the first frame there where he rolls the slow 10, and then this one where the 6-pin goes in front of the 10-pin. You don't see that very often.
Is Kyle here? That's his jam.
Referring to Kyle Troop, who's on rest and rehab right now, taking care of a finger injury. He had to skip a couple of events. Is expected to be at the World Series.
Yeah, we wish him a speedy recovery. Well, we saw E.J. Tackett go light, and E.J. thought he threw a really nice shot on that right lane, and he left that ugly split, the 2-4-8-10, and was able to convert. Here, Simonson goes a little bit high. I think the right lane is going to be key now. If it gets tricky, could get very interesting.
No trouble for Simonson through 6, maintaining a sizable lead. We'll head over to the left lane. He made a ball change right at the end of his victory over Kris Prater. And you see he's an equal opportunity employer on the left and right lane so far in this match. Yes, sir.
Locked and loaded on the left lane is Anthony Simonson. That's the good news. The bad news, he has to finish the match on the right lane.
E.J. Tackett with 12 titles, 3 of them last year. And this year, this is his 3rd appearance in 4 weeks under the lights. 5th of the PBA Players Championship, and Kyle Troop beat him in a great match, and he was second to Belmo at the TFC. Come on, Messi. Nope, just died there. Just checked.
That ball there just wiggled a little bit as it got down to the end of the pattern, and it came in just light enough to where he left that soft 10.
So that was a big frame right there. Simonson with a strike. Tackett with a soft 10 pin. And Kimberly, I understand in the world of debating, we have a rebuttal perhaps from Norm Duke about what we just heard.
We sure do. So, Norm, I just did an interview with Kris Prather, and he said that he thinks that you're going to have to hook it in order to win your match. Now, one, have you been watching, and do you think that's something you'll do?
Well, I've hooked it about half the time on the right lane. None, never on the left. I won't on the left. But, man, I'm looking at it, and some of them are making it look good, some not so good. I went over and threw 3 or 4 shots in between the games. I didn't like hooking it. Yeah, but I'm going to maybe take a little less bowling ball out there and see if it'll get down the lane a little freer, and maybe not. I don't know at this point.
All right, well, your match is coming up next. We're going to let you go out and get some practice shots. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Norm, thank you very much. Same with you, Kimberly. A master tactician is Norm, and a guy who hides his cards when he needs to also.
Yeah, Norm can figure it out most of the time.
Yes. The numbers back that up. He's going for his 40th title. He'll take on the winner of this match, and at the moment, everything is favoring Anthony Simonson.
Well, E.J. Tackett's had some bad carry this game. Second frame leaves that violent ring in 10, then a solid 9 in the 4th. That flat 10 in the 7th, another 9 pin in the 8th.
That's through the face and leaves behind the ever stubborn 3-6-10.
Oh, no.
What adjustment would you suggest he make here?
Throw it better. That was a bad shot. 2 boards left or inside of target, and you're not going to make that work on the right lane because there's just too much friction.
So it's not a ball change
Nope.
saying anything like this. Just be better.
Yep.
Okay.
Look at that backup ball at the 3-6-9, or the 3-6-10 rather.
There was a backup ball, and that is to give you the indication of the imagination and the talent, and a little sneaky smile on his face after that one.
You think he's practiced that before?
To whip that out on a telecast, you might get to see Anthony Simonson in our next PBA telecast, the World Bowling Tour Final, Sunday, March 10th at 10 o'clock Eastern on FS1. That'll be from Arlington, Texas. That's the WBT Finals next Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Wow. And Simonson comes through with a big X in the 9th frame.
Kicked the 2-4-5 out, and if you're E.J. Tackett, you're not liking watching that at all because Simonson's got a couple of nice breaks. He caved the bucket in, and now the 2-4-5. Well, yeah, pretty much the 2-4-5. The 8 was already gone. E.J. hasn't really caught a break yet. Hey, when you're hot, you're hot. This man's coming off a major championship victory just a couple weeks ago. Look at that.
Oh, boy.
Well, he got a little softer with his speed and tried to get it to come around the corner. And just like I said earlier in the match, if you lose that right lane, I think the right lane's going to be the tell-all. And sure enough, it's jumped up to bite E.J. Tackett twice now.
So we've seen him make one with 8.9% conversion. This actually has more pins, but a higher conversion rate.
Get the ball over here into the 3-6 and throw the 3 over into the 4-7.
That's unreal.
I told you before, in order to be a top-level player out here, you got to be a good spare shooter. E.J. Tackett's a great spare shooter. Made the 2-4-8-10 and now the 3-4-6-7-10. Pretty good stuff there.
Yep, I think everybody appreciated that. Now give a smile to his face that he has lacked in this match. He has not had very many great breaks.
Well, he's one of the most likable guys out here, and
no doubt.
And there's a reason for it. He's a great sport, and he appreciates the people before him that have paved the way, and he's certainly in my book, the number 2 ranked player in the world out here now.
Well, he's going to finish as strongly as he can.
Heck of a player. And
well,
if you like his bowling, you ought to see him play golf.
That's the rumor.
Yeah, he's like a +4 handicap.
Okay.
And if you know anything about golf, that +4 is really good.
Well, EJ Tackett will finish with a 199. Anthony Simonson moving on to take on the legend Norm Duke. He's seeking his 40th title. Simonson is seeking his 7th, and he's only 22 years old. That shot, not a problem.
He just gets deeper.
And he goes for a quick conversation with his tour rep, Jim Callahan.
JC.
And a little ball change, so he's going to be doing some thinking during the break, without question.
The right lane has gone away, and Simonson needs to figure something out. That ball went Brooklyn. So what's the adjustment going to be going into the title match against Norm Duke? Better figure it out.
He'll have a little bit of time to think about it, but he is about to run into the guy who might be the hottest bowler on the planet at the moment. Your winner a week ago, the number 1 seed this week, looking for his 40th title at 54 years old. Norm Duke is next.
Hi, I'm Norm Duke. And you're watching the PBA on FS1.
And you'll be watching Norm Duke in just a moment or two here, because he is in the number 1 position. He'll be taking on Anthony Simonson in our next match. Simonson, a winner over EJ Tackett. A tough match for Tackett. Just could not get a lot of breaks on the carry. And Simonson got out early and just maintained that front runner status throughout the entire match. Well, it is time for our Go Bowling Tip of the Week. And Randy, this time you've gone into the Go Bowling Facebook page and answered a question from a fan, or are about to.
Are you going to read the question, or you want me to?
You know what? Let's put the question up there and we'll read it together. What's the best way to learn to keep your elbow in? That's Anthony Caridi Jr.
All right, Anthony. Well, listen, it's real simple. The elbow always follows what the hand does. So if the hand turns around early, the elbow is going to fly. Dave, give me your hand. Now, if I get my hand in this position here, Dave, try to fly your elbow. You can't.
Can't do it.
Get your hand behind it, keep it underneath. That elbow will always stay in.
There you go. There is your Go Bowling Tip of the Week from Randy Peterson. And you go to that fan page and that Facebook page and continue to send in your questions. In the meantime, this building is electrified because they know what they can see here. Norm Duke winning a 40th title. He's 54 years old and soon to turn 55. The true definition of a crafty vet. But the young man he's about to bowl against is pretty sneaky himself. Randy, what do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting because I've been watching Norm in warm-ups. Norm is locked and loaded on the right lane, the same lane that gave Anthony Simonson some trouble late. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens, but if I was going to bet, and you know I'm not a betting guy.
Not at all.
I might have to take the wee Iceman back-to-back weeks.
That would be Norm Duke's 40th title if that happens. Stay with us. You're about to see this final uninterrupted.
PBA on FS1, sponsored by Go Bowling. For promotional offers, tips to improve your game, news, or to locate a bowling center near you, log on to gobowling.com. And that was Norm Duke a week ago, just outside downtown Indianapolis, winning title number 39. The Go Bowling Indianapolis Open. Title 40? About 15, 20 minutes away, perhaps, if he can defeat Anthony Simonson. The age difference here is startling. Duke is 54, soon to be 55. Simonson turned 22 2 months ago. But the issue is going to be, and Randy mentioned this, and others have noticed as well, the right lane. We take a look at the remarkable career of Norm Duke, but Anthony Simonson is on a pretty nice plane himself. 2 majors already at 22. We mentioned that's the youngest anybody has ever won 2 majors in PBA history.
Hey, let's not forget to mention that longevity is not a bad thing. You know, I mean, hey, get it while the getting's good. While you're young, it's nice and fun. No kids, no wife, that's great. But being able to do what Norm Duke has done for so long is pretty cool, too.
Yep, no doubt about it. You ever catch him on the PBA League? He dominates in that.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the best PBA League performers out there as well. So here we go, Simonson, and he'll start on the left lane.
Yeah, with a different bowling ball.
Well, I thought that was going to cross for a second. All the way over to the Brooklyn side.
You know, there's probably a lot of folks that are asking themselves, well, do you think Anthony's feeling a lot of pressure or added pressure because he's going up against Norm Duke? And I say no, and I'll quantify that in a second.
Make sure he converts this tricky one. He smothers it.
He took down Jason Belmonte, who is the #1 player on the planet, right?
Yep.
And I think if you're able to do that, if you're able to compose yourself enough to do that, I think he's probably feeling pretty confident against this man. But the question is, will he be able to find a ball reaction and find it quick? And what's Norm Duke's ball reaction going to be like?
You liked him on this lane in warm-ups. Soft 10.
And that's the only disadvantage for Norm if he has to go around the oil pattern a little bit, meaning create that arc or circle that oil pattern. He doesn't have the rev rate that the other young players have to get this corner pin out. And that's really the only thing wrong with this shot.
Is throwing 16 pounds.
Or in his term, man weight.
And he'll take care of a stubborn 10-pin. There's somebody we really, really want to thank. I'll do it on behalf of everybody in our family and all of the bowlers as well. Stacy Blackston, who is the owner here. What a host. My goodness. She's done a stunning job for these players and made sure that everybody is as happy as they could be.
Well, you have Kelly on her left and Corinne on the right. They just do an incredible job here. This is a state-of-the-art facility and just great, wonderful people running it. Different ball for Norm on the left.
And a different result.
Now, Norm Duke, he chose to finish on that left lane, make Simonson finish on the right lane, meaning finish the match. Simonson has not struck his last 3 shots on the right lane as we take a look at Norm's 10-pin party in the pit.
So, the answer is a different ball, perhaps? Oh, no, that was weak.
Wow. Instantly. There's a hook.
You heard what he said. It hooked instantly. It went high right through the face.
Stacy. Yep, we got a good look at Stacy. And again, just our thanks. So he'll have to take his meds on that one. An early advantage for Norm Duke in this title match. And again, we are presenting this match to you without interruption.
Well, he said in his interview yesterday that the key was how fast the lanes would transition, how fast they would change for him. Now he's going from the gold ball to a ball that he started with.
Oh, look out here. Oh, he got a huge break.
You know, that's okay, and that's a great break for Anthony Simonson. But for Norm Duke, he doesn't have a big problem with that because he knows that Anthony Simonson is not lined up to hit the pocket.
And Simonson went right to his tour reps. Didn't even sit down. And he's got equipment to discuss. Oh! Well, there's a little mix-up action for you.
Well, he put the good touch on this one, and he got it to wheel all the way back and tickle the 1-3 for a mixer strike. Watch this. An open-handed release. And the light Wally. That's bowling terms for that ball was light. It mixed the pins up.
I like it.
That's a bad mammal right there. That guy's going to be 55 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Be a lot of candles on that cake, but you know what? He could afford a pretty good one with the way he's going.
Get the fire extinguisher out. What a hit.
And Simonson just has lost that right lane as you feared he might. He's made a 3-6-10 already, but now you mix the 7-pin in there, and that's a 34% chance of being converted. He really needs it, and he's not going to get it. And after just 4 frames, Norm Duke is in a commanding position here.
Up 48, it's like he's getting something gift wrapped for his birthday. He also knows that it's not over, that Simonson can gather himself and find something, but he needs to start now to have any chance.
That's his best looking shot on that lane right there.
And that still wasn't flush, it was high flush, and right now after every shot, Simonson comes back to his ball reps and his tour reps, and he's asking him, what do you think? What should I do? What should I try?
I'm going to be going to another ball.
Last week on the left, this week on the right. Look how much straighter Norm was going on the left. And this week opening up that right lane a little bit for Norm Duke.
On the right lane here.
Whoa, easy. Got the 10 out, just leaves the 2-8, Dave.
And that's a 91, almost a 92% conversion for the PBA pros.
He's going to make a little adjustment on that right lane and probably move his feet a board or a half a board to the right.
No trouble with that. Now we had a one tail of the tape for you. We're going to do another one. First 5 years as a professional for Norm Duke. Remember Norm won when he was 18.
Yeah, youngest player ever.
Yep, and the great Nelson Burton Jr. said, we're going to see a lot of this guy.
Yeah.
Obviously we have. But look at Simonson in his first 5 years, actually exceeding Duke's output in every category.
Yeah, well, Duke slowed down a bit after he won that first title. It took him a few years to figure out how to beat these boys out here. But once he figured it out, well, the rest is history.
I can hear him.
Is he talking about us?
He's talking about me.
Okay.
Sorry, Norman. Shutting up now.
Well, that is an unusual complete miss of the pocket for Duke.
Bad shot and just overly aggressive. He got it right. One, two, 4. 87.5% conversion rate for the tour average. All right.
Little hope here for Anthony Simonson, building off of the strike in the 5th.
Well, he's you're right. He can cut the deficit to 23 with a strike in the 6th and 7th, but he has not hit the right lane in his last 5 shots.
He has been scrambling for a solution.
Another ball change.
Unbelievable, the weird leaves here. 4, 6, 7, 9.
Yeah, the ball's going through the pins so sharply in the back part of the lane. That ball's one and done as he takes it off the rack. But watch how sharp it goes through the pins. And when you have that much angle going through the pins, you're going to leave some ugly stuff.
I don't have a conversion chart for that.
Yeah,
that's how rare that is.
It's like 4%, or maybe 2.
Wow.
He's missed 5 times in a row on the right lane. The last 3 shots have all been 6-count splits. Simonson in big trouble.
And he goes wide.
Uncomfortable is the word for it.
Ugly place to be. Been there before. Feel for you, Anthony. That's that same spot that Norm just hit.
Yeah,
the last shot.
The same shot.
Yeah, and you get it just a little bit right, and it hydroplanes.
On the dual oil patterns here, longer pattern on the left, shorter pattern on the right. So a lot of bowling balls had to be brought, a lot of equipment had to be adjusted. Here we take a look at the idol and the daredevil, our Duke's arsenal at the moment. The higher the number, the more the ball is designed to hook.
Right now, that little devil using the daredevil, trying to win his 40th title and become only the 3rd player in PBA history to get to 40 titles.
And he is really close to it. I mean, Simonson's max is 188 right now.
Duke's already at 215.
5-pin caving in at the end there. Mine didn't go wide, but it did leave him with a quiet 10-pin.
Norm Duke knows the score, and he knows exactly what he has to do, and that's just fill frames with marks. Spares or strikes. Title number 40 is his.
Stay still, please.
At least that wasn't me. You know, the reason why he dropped down to one knee like that is because he knew if he struck on that ball,
can you set him down,
it was
please?
pretty much over.
Thank you.
Trying to look at who might be in
It's a photographer.
Vision, yeah. It's not one of ours. After a couple of distractions, he takes care of business and fills those frames exactly as you said he needed to do.
One more shot.
The intensity of Norm Duke is just it's next level stuff.
Allows him to fight through the aches and pains you get in your mid-50s. And Simonson finally gives the right lane a little bit of payback.
He tried to go a little bit straighter, and it was perfect. And unfortunately, it's going to be a little late for Simo. It's his first strike on that lane in 5 shots. 6 shots, rather. Now, can he strike and double up on the left lane? Look at that wiggle.
And he's not going to get the Dick Allen strike on the late trip on the 2. And I believe Norm Duke has won his 40th title.
He has. It was ugly, but and unfortunate for Anthony Simonson losing his ball reaction the way he did and never really tested Norm. Norm got off to the quick start, though, and all the pressure was on Anthony to find something, and that's what he tried to do, and everything he tried didn't work.
So over the last 2 weeks, this 54-year-old Hall of Famer has picked up 2 more titles, and now only 3 players in the history of the PBA Tour have 40 or greater. The other 2 are Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Earl Anthony, and now Norm Duke with number 40. First time he's gone back-to-back, right, in singles titles?
Well, he kind of did over 2 calendar years, but first time since, I believe, 2013, or excuse me, 2011 that he won from the number 1 seed, and that was the U.S. Open against Mika Koivuniemi.
It hit something.
No problem, Norm. Pins are listening to you. Bowling balls are listening to you. And you are a champion yet again.
What an amazing last couple of weeks for that man right there.
Oh, I got to think.
Welcome. Welcome.
I got to think the World Series.
Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
Already interesting. Throw him in there. There's one more log on that fire.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go. Come on.
He found a way the last couple of weeks on the dual patterns to stay far enough right to give himself some angle to strike and keep up with the high rev, high power players. And
That's what I'm talking about.
then just the gut, the grits of Norm Duke got him there.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. The savvy Duke has done it again. It doesn't matter what patterns you throw at him right now. He's going to take care of business. Fans have always loved his game. And you know what? Other bowlers love his game as well.
Yeah, he's got a lot of mutual respect for just about all the players out here. And can't respect what he's done for the game and how great he's been for so many years. Well, we'll find another sport.
You too, awesome. You too.
What a dream come true.
You're coming. You've come a long way, man. I'm loving watching it.
Thank you so much.
El Campeon. Again, back-to-back jacks for Norm Duke and Anthony Simonson. And there's some of that respect that you talked about. Kurt Kruger is a tremendous bowler in his own right, associate commissioner on the PBA Tour. And for the 40th time, Norm is going to make that little walk and grab another trophy.
He said a couple weeks ago he'd win again. I didn't know if he knew.
I'll find
I didn't know if he knew he was going to win back-to-back.
Johnny on the spot right there.
Now, a little Sharpie action there for Norm.
Number 40.
Oh, very nice. Now that one, significant.
Pass it around.
Gave it to the fans to pass around. I think that guy's going to take it home with him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that guy's going to be prepared to give that back. Well, this is not a repeat of last week, but let's go to Kimberly with Norm Duke, your champion.
Norm, once again, you gave the trophy to your fans. They absolutely love you here, but in your illustrious career, this is the first time that you have ever won back-to-back titles consecutively in 2 weeks. Did you think at this stage in your career that you would be doing firsts?
No. Look, we don't work this hard and travel this far unless we think we can win. I don't care who it is against. But as you just said, did you think you were going to come out and win 2 in a row? I just bowled 2 majors that didn't make either cut. So no.
But you are here. Now let's talk about the show for a second here because, you know, you are 54 years old. Just about everybody on the show today was about half your age.
Oh,
and yet,
stop it.
Listen, there's a compliment here coming. Listen. And yet you look like you're bowling at your prime. So what is your secret?
Well, I got cars older than some of these kids. My truck is 1995. There's a whole lot of them, man. That's all right. My wife may buy me a new truck now, maybe. I don't know.
Yes, she was. She has permission to buy a new truck for you. Now you wrote number 40 on there. So what is next for you?
Wow, you know, a bunch of thank yous again. I mean, there's been a lot of people behind me helping me get to this stage. I've had issues, and at 30 years in a row doing the same thing, when you have issues, it's not an easy thing. Cecil Scarborough with Vice, we thank you. Tom Laskow with my thumb inserts. Wow, they work so hard with that, it's crazy. Dexter put me in a new pair of kicks, and Storm, my God, Storm just continues to show me love, and I appreciate all of you guys there in Utah.
And all of these people appreciate you. Norm, congratulations.
Here it goes back.
It's coming back around. Congratulations. This is your moment.
Norm, congratulations. Let me read you a tweet, Randy.
Let's hear it.
Norman did what Norman does, and that's hit the pocket 9 out of 10 times. Number 40 for the National Treasure, and now in contention for Player of the Year. The author of that tweet, Jason Belmonte.
Well, that's, first of all, pretty classy, but spot on.
40 titles for Norm Duke. Only Earl Anthony and Walter Ray Williams Jr., whose names always come up in the conversation for the greatest players of all time, are ahead of Norm Duke in total titles. And Norm has always mingled with the fans before, during, and after. Our next telecast will be next Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern on FS1 and also on the Fox Sports app, the World Bowling Tour Finals presented by the PBA. Hope you've enjoyed this one. We had a little bit of everything, Randy, with this, but at the end, on top once more, the wee Iceman. For our entire FS1 crew, for Kimberly and for Randy and for everybody here in Jonesboro, we can't thank the folks here enough for a wonderful few days in town. Congratulations to the champion, Norm Duke, title number 40, defeating a fine field and a great player in Anthony Simonson. I'm Dave Lamont. We thank you for watching the PBA on FS1.